A wild burglary and chase in Glendale ends with 2 men in custody and thousands of dollars of cash strewn all over the street.
And it's all caught on camera. Fox 10's Mark Martinez breaks it down.
Glendale police dubbed it the Italian job.
There's money all over the street. We were making a right-hand turn. We see the fighting. Came up to a car accident and then fighting. The guy was, and I was like, you guys need to separate. And he's like, he stole $50,000 from me.
Surveillance cameras captured the moment two suspects swiped $50,000 from a man's car.
And when we got off to get the truck, we had the money in the car. And me, like an idiot, I didn't lock the car. She's like, hey, dude, that car took off with something. He stole something out of your car, he said. And he left.
On November 7th, the victim had just cashed a settlement check from the bank, then drove to a home near 83rd Avenue and Northern to purchase a truck.
So you
42 Bravo.
went to some location to buy a truck, had money in the car, okay, and then what happened?
And then we got off to see the truck with the owner of the truck. He got there.
Which was not him.
Which was not him.
Okay.
And we got in the car and we started chasing this guy. And this dude was hauling until he crashed right here.
The victim and his son jumped back in their car, calling 911 as they chased after the suspects. Real-time Crime Center traffic cameras captured the suspects crash into another vehicle after running a red light at 67th Avenue and Olive.
And then he got out of the car and ran. I was following him
And you
with
ran
that bag.
With that
And I was running after him. And then, like I said, I lost him from the front of this complex to over here. And then I seen him. He's like, oh, I'll wait for the cops. I'll wait for the cops. I didn't do nothing.
Glendale police arrived and arrested Raymond Pouncey and Reginald Chapman. Inside their car, officers found $47,205 in cash.
All right, do you desire prosecution?
Absolutely. It's to the highest degree.
Mark Martinez, Fox 10 News. First, a major break in a Valley cold case nearly 2 years to the day after Joanne Dudek went missing in Anthem.
Her skull was found in New River, 5 miles from her home. Fox 10's Kenzie Beach is live tonight. And Kenzie, you spoke with Joanne's family.
Yeah, that's right, you guys. This discovery comes almost 2 years to the day that Joanne Dudek went missing. I spoke with her family from Long Island, New York, who still has so many questions. But what they do know is that this is just the beginning of a long road to justice. The oldest of 5 siblings, Joanne Dudek, came from a tight-knit New York family.
There is a very, very profound darkness in that entire sentiment now.
On November 13th, 2022, Joanne, her sister, and her niece, Erin Murtha, were planning a December trip to New York City, booking flights and Broadway shows until everything went dark.
The last text that my family received from Joanne was something along the lines of like, these are the flights that look good. Let me know if this works for you. Love you. Looking forward to seeing you.
Joanne Dudek was unreachable. Days went by with unanswered texts and unanswered calls.
We called her daughter and just asked her what was going on with Joanne's phone was really the main question.
Joanne lived in her Anthem home with her husband, Walter, their adopted daughter, and the daughter's boyfriend. They said Joanne left.
Left? To where? Like, went where? Doing what? With who?
For the family in New York, things were not adding up.
Due to the evolving storyline of what had happened on the 13th, our family started to get the feeling that the people who were living in that house were not telling the truth about what had happened on the 13th.
Thanksgiving passed. Neither Joanne's husband or daughter had filed a missing persons report.
Our family from out of state took the reins and decided to file a missing persons report.
Another twist. Weeks after Joanne went missing, her husband Walter had a seizure and unexpectedly died in April 2023. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office identifying a skull in New River as Joanne Dudek. Her family wants to bring her home and bury her next to her parents in New York, but more than anything, they want justice.
Joanne was killed, in our opinion, the night of November 13th. We don't really feel that there will be true justice for Joanne until someone or someones are held responsible for what happened to her.
There's still so many questions in this case, but now that the skull of Joanne Dudek has been found, this is an active homicide investigation. Joanne's niece, Joanne Dudek's niece, tells me that they've cut off all ties with Joanne's daughter just for the sake of the family and for the sake of this investigation. Reporting live tonight, Kenzie Beach, Fox 10 News.
The so-called doomsday mom and convicted killer, Lori Vallow, had an important hearing today regarding her competency to stand trial. At the last minute, she refused to show up.
Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum has been covering this saga from the beginning. He joins us live now with new details in what is a complex case.
John, Christina, remember last week, Lori Vallow confirmed she wanted to represent herself in court against murder conspiracy charges, and she wanted to withdraw this motion for a Rule 11 mental evaluation. Well, this morning, she refused MCSO transport for an important court hearing. We're also learning about a lack of cooperation by Vallow as well.
The state of Arizona versus Lori Vallow.
The former Chandler resident who killed her two youngest children in Idaho was a no-show in court. Lori Vallow remains in Rule 11 proceedings to determine if she is competent to go forward with two additional murder conspiracy cases here. She's accused of her alleged involvement in the fatal shooting of her former husband Charles Vallow and the failed murder attempt on Brandon Boudreaux, her niece's ex-husband.
Well, we were hoping that the defendant would be present today so that she could be admonished by the court that the most expedient way to get out of Rule 11 is to cooperate with the Rule 11 doctors. I'm not sure that it's appropriate for defense counsel to advise the defendant to not cooperate, but that's where we are.
Prosecutors say Vallow's new defense team advised her not to cooperate with the two court-appointed experts. It was Vallow's previous public defender that filed the motion for Rule 11. Commissioner Travis Martirosyan says he reviewed a report from Dr. Michael McGady and a letter from Dr. Camille Hernandez. The court asked if both parties could agree to moving the case along based on what appeared to be a competency finding in McGady's report. The state said no, arguing that if Vallow wants to represent herself in court, the second opinion is needed. The defense responded.
As far as having Ms. Vallow not speak, that was a decision based on the fact that we wanted to withdraw the Rule 11 motion. We did not want to be in Rule 11 court because we just didn't think it was appropriate at that time. Right. Otherwise, I think this is just a completely unique case.
Vallow was found unfit to stand trial in Idaho back in 2021, spending 10 months in a state hospital before being restored to competency. In May 2023, she was convicted for killing her two children, 16-year-old Tylee Ryan and 7-year-old J.J. Vallow, who were found buried in the backyard of Chad Daybell, Lori's husband. She was also found guilty of conspiring in the murder of Daybell's first wife, Tammy. Evidence and testimonies in both the Vallow-Daybell trials revealed the trail of death was motivated by money, religious beliefs, and sex. Now another delay in Vallow's next trial as a doctor waits to evaluate her.
Just from an ethical standpoint, she doesn't have enough information to just render an opinion. And so I don't want to force her to make an opinion when she's not in a position to do that. And she needs more information, which she hopes to get in attempting to meet with the defendant next week. Unfortunately, Ms. Vallow not speaking with the mental health experts is causing some delay.
Now, this Dr. Hernandez has a deadline of December 2nd to submit her competency report on Vallow, and then the next competency hearing follows that submission 3 days later. Meanwhile, the actual judge presiding over the criminal cases outside of Rule 11 court, well, he will meet with these lawyers in a status conference next Wednesday. I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum.